Okay, let's go over the first question.
Sure. So when we think about why Jude used the word contend, it definitely gives us the sense that faith isn't something passive, right? It's more of an active struggle, almost like a battle. What are your thoughts on that?
Because our faith becomes fragile because due to devil's deception. It is something that we should preserve by fighting for it. Or we cannot preserve our faith if we do not earnestly fight against Satan's deception. That's why I believe that the book of Jude used the word contend.
I love that insight. It really does highlight the idea that faith is something that needs active defense. It's not just about holding on to it, but actively protecting it from those deceptions and challenges. It really shows how important it is to stay vigilant in our spiritual journey.
Right. Okay. Another question about the passage.
Absolutely. Let's think about this. In the passage, Jude talks about certain individuals who slip in and distort the grace of God. Why do you think Jude emphasizes the danger of these individuals? What impact do you think they could have on the community of believers?
They may bring us into disobedience. That's just simple, and that's something we should all avoid because disobedience leads to eternal destruction in hell.
Exactly. And I think that's why Jude is so urgent in his message, right? He wants to protect the community from that kind of influence because it can lead people away from the truth. It's definitely a reminder of how important it is to stay grounded in the faith and really be vigilant.
Right. Let's go to let's have another question.
Sure. Another interesting point from the passage is the idea of overcoming, like in Revelation, where it talks about those who overcome receiving the right to eat from the tree of life. What do you think it means, practically speaking, to be someone who overcomes in the context of our faith?
So those who overcome refer to individuals who pass through the seven tests represented by these seven tests represent seven messages John sent to the seven church. Each letter talk about those who overcome and those who don't. For instance, in his letter to the church in Ephesus, those who overcome are given the right to the tree of life. Right. So each message, each letter to the seven churches, represent God's testing we must pass in order to be counted among those who overcome. In other words, those who become victorious and enter heaven.
That's a great way of putting it. It really shows how these messages to the seven churches are almost like a roadmap for us to understand what it means to stay faithful and to persevere. And it also emphasizes that overcoming isn't just a one time event, but really a continuous journey of faith.
Right. That's right. Hmm.
Absolutely. It's always so inspiring to dig into these passages and see how they encourage us to keep knowing and remain
Okay,
steadfast.
Another question about the passage. Let's go.
All right, let's dive into another aspect. The passage mentions the concept of a first love in the letter to the church in Ephesus. What do you think it means for believers to return to their first
Hey,
love and
hey,
why?
that wasn't the main focus of the passage. The passage was more on the 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 concept of faith life being a series of battle. So let's focus. So let's put our focus on that topic.
Got it. No worries. Let's keep our focus on that theme of faith being a series of battles. One question that comes to mind is about the comparison between the Israelites' journey in the Old Testament and our spiritual journey today. How do you see that parallel of their battles reflecting the spiritual battles we face now?
if their journey in the desert was a series of a battle, that indicates that our faith life is also a lifelong struggle and battle against sin, disobedience, and deception. Why? Because Acts chapter 7, verse 38 states that the Israelites went through the church in the wilderness. It means that the desert they went through symbolizes the church. So all the struggles and battles they encountered during their journey in the desert represent the same battles we are going to encounter as we journey through our life.
That's such a powerful analogy, and it really helps us see that the challenges and tests we face today aren't new. They're part of this ongoing journey of faith. It really emphasizes the need for perseverance and trust in God as we navigate our own spiritual battles.